So we're now to part 3, where we actually put the pennies and stitch them on the rug. Remember that these seams are stitched. You can do it as invisible as you can with very tiny stitches, or you can do a decorative stitch. What's your choice? Also, remember that these diamonds are not equal on all sides. I've added, let's see if I can get this up. I've added a 1/2 inch on this side. I've made the diamond longer, and I've added a 1/2 inch on this side to make the diamond longer, and that way you have the wiggle room and the space to neatly trim. After everything is stitched, you neatly trim a 1/4 or less outside your pennies, and then you do your blanket stitch. So you can even that up. You have that extra 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. The other thing is, as I mentioned, these do not go together. Some of them are quite on, others are very off. This one's really off, you can see. And it had something to do with that 1/2 inch that I added. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. They were very, very, very difficult to do, very tedious to get these all fitted. But even if it's off, it's not going to matter. I'm going to do this one's quite bad, so that you'll know if yours is off a little bit, you know that it's not going to bother it. Okay, so, pull the string here. After these are stitched, to secure them, there, so they don't open up like mine did. And we start at the center, and you put your pennies up as close to the edge of that diamond point as they will fit. Just keep putting them in, just up as close as they would fit. Remember, we're doing a 7 by 7 diamond. So you have 7 rows of 7 diamonds. There. Now, you have a center because the pennies won't go up any further than that. And it was the same when I showed you the bottom edge. You have a penny, and then you're going to have this piece of part of a triangle here showing. So with this rug, you need to put a penny in the center to hide that space. So you do, and then you just jiggle these around so that they fit. And it's actually the start of the hexagon layout, and we keep adding. So that's the start. Now, whether you're doing one at a time, you were doing the half part, or whatever, however you're going to be stitching these need to be in place and secure so that they do not move, because this is what every one of your diamonds will be coming off of. You need that center piece fitting and working. From there, it's very, very simple. It's just fill in the blanks. Now, as I mentioned before, with the different colors, if you would like to put all of your reds here, greens, browns, that's fine. You can sort them out and do that. But if you're not doing that, if you're just putting them as I have done on my rug, just scatter them around, you may want to set out your whole rug. The reason being, you want an even color all around. You don't want a lot of, you don't want a lot of pennies left and a lot of brown in one place. So I would just put the pennies on the rug. It's not going to take that long. It goes quickly. Then just take each one of your pennies off, your diamonds of pennies, put it in a bag, and then that way you're going to have a nice a nice blend of colors in all of your diamonds. So after you have this and have it secure, it's just a matter of filling in the outside with pennies. And you do this on all of them. Okay, now move that around. It's so difficult. I have to look at the light and look at the camera and see what I'm doing. Okay, so you put it even with that edge. Then, you can see that. Then you do your 1/2 inch. And fill it in. Move over 1/2 inch. Now, that one's out over, so you're going to have to squish them a little bit in order to get that to work. If you do find that and they're not working, see, now it will work. That's fine. If you run into a problem that you can't get it to work, okay, I'm going to put that on there. Take that one away and try another penny, a smaller penny. Sometimes that makes a difference. If that doesn't work, then just cut the penny down a little bit. That one's going to work. And we just continue like that. The other thing is that I meant to show you before. Let's see. If you have a problem where something doesn't fit, stretch it. Make it off, a little off the round. See, if that wouldn't fit, I would have done that. And there, it fits better because it's scrunched up that way. And they should not be perfect. This isn't a rug where you are going to have perfect pennies. Perfect cut, perfect interlocking one in the other. There, so you have your 1/2 inch, your 1/2 inch, they're pretty good. You just fill in the blanks. And again, if you run into a problem where it's not going to work, just cut a tiny bit off the penny, pull the penny on the bias so that maybe it will fit better. You don't need to have them interlocking, you just fill in the space. Now, after you have your, so more technical difficulties, I don't know why that camera's shutting off. So as I was saying, base these, use the tape, make sure you have your good edge, put the tape on, base them with a double stitch so that they can't move, or staple, whatever. Then as you do your rug on your lap, you can fill these in. So you could just do your outside, and then once you are stitching this part with the green thread, just start filling them in. You can do it a few at a time, do it one at a time, whatever. If you have a problem that it doesn't fit, and you shouldn't have a problem, but just scrunch them, take a little bit off, whatever. The last one I'm going to put in there. I basted mine because it was so much easier. I just didn't want to work with pins, and I didn't want to do it one at a time, because when I was doing my rug, I really didn't know how to do it at that time. I was just sort of doing it by how I thought. There's one. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing on, let's do this one. We'll do the same thing on that one, and I'll set up and have it ready in just a minute. So we're now going to fill in the browns, and I've already did the first row here and the first row here. 1/2 inch. Put your measure down. It's a little difficult. The light's in my way. There. And that one's a little. Just scrunch that up a bit. Keep filling it in. Half inch. Where's my 1/2 inch? There. It's really very easy. Now you need this one. Now this one is a little bit off here. I would open that up a bit and open these up a bit, so that works. This one, I don't know if you can see it. There. This one has to be touching on this side, and then a 1/2 inch on this side, so don't swerve it, and open these up here so that they work a bit better, have more spacing in them. This one's a little close. We can move that one a little bit, scrunch it in. And now you tape. Make sure you have your 1/2 inch good on each side. And that one can come down a little bit over on that side. There. Tape, double based, fill in. That's it. That is how you do the top part of your rug. Make sure that your threads match. Your green goes with the green, red with the red, and the beige with the beige. Now when you get up to the top part, and let's see, I'll move the camera, and you are doing you're doing up to here with green, with beige, with red, green, beige, and red. This one, you will see when you have these done, you will know what color to do that. I would say it's probably a red, because your red's going to go through there. Beige is going to go through there, or the green's going to go through there. Whatever color you think you would like. Probably beige, maybe. You might like red. You might want to go through the green. So that's how you put your pennies on. The next thing we're going to do is show you the stitch. And we will do that in the next part of this video. So now we're going to stitch the pennies with the appropriate color thread. As I said, you can do your outside edges. Make sure you secure them somehow, maybe with tape. I think tape's a good idea to hold those in place. Staple it or double baste it so they don't move. Then if you want to, you can stitch them, and then you can fill in. As you fill in, you can stitch. But it's very important that you have these edges on all of them. So the other thing is, if you remember, I told you some of the balls of yarn, you will pull them off and they have knots in them. And that's some of them that we did with the board where we cut, and same as I did by hanks of string. I personally found that I couldn't use, I didn't want to use a long piece of yarn and do 2 pennies. Usually I put my thread in my needle, it does 2 pennies, and then I use another needle, 2 pennies, 2 pennies. I found with the yarn it tends to get caught. It's just easier if you have enough to do 1 penny on your needle rather than the long one. And it also helps it if you have the long piece of yarn on your needle, it may, as it pulls through, it may chafe and at some point break. So this is 20 inches. I'm not sure if this is going to do all around or not, but it's just a simple blanket stitch. If you have these very, very secure, you can lift your rug up and stitch. So as long as they don't move, that's fine. You can put it on a flat surface and do it. I like to have a flat surface because I like to use my two hands. But I don't use a table. I sit on the couch, or the bed's my favorite place to stitch and watch my TV shows. So I use one of the boards, something like this one, but a bit larger. I put a cushion on my lap, put the board on, put a cushion under my feet, and I stitch and stitch and stitch. So as long as you have a solid surface, you can slant it up with a cushion. It doesn't have to be actually a table. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I forgot, you hear these little creaks as I do my videos. This is my old kitchen table, and it's the leaf is loose, and whenever I put my arm here, you'll hear it creak and crack. So that's what that is. I'm not sure I'm going to fix it because I like that part. Sometimes you may hear a chime, and that's the clocks. I really seldom hear the chimes anymore. If you have the chime clocks, you know what I mean. It just gets to be a part of the house, and they chime and you don't even realize unless you're actually waiting for a time and you have to count the chimes and you know what time it is. So I'm just going to go around the penny like this, just a regular blanket stitch. I'm going to take this one out now, put it here. I'm going to turn my camera off and not waste the film until I get up to here. So I've blanket stitched those pennies. I'm just going to finish this up now, and then we're going to do the little center thing. Now, I think I mentioned somewhere in the video that not to use a long piece of yarn when you're doing these. I use enough yarn to do 1 penny, and I thread as many needles as I have. I usually thread 6 needles. If I have more, I'll do that. So when I'm finished this, I've got another one ready. Keep going. When I'm finished all of my needles, it's time to take a break and get up and walk around a bit. You don't have to worry what your back looks like on this one. There's no way that you can show the back because of the webbing that's there. So it doesn't matter how your stitches look on the back. If they're messy or neat or whatever. Now, I was using a 20-inch piece of yarn. Now, when I measured it, be careful when you measure it, because don't pull it. Just let it go natural and do your measurement. And that way you'll know after you finish your penny, you'll know if that's the correct length that you can use for your needle. Because your little piece that you have left off, which is like this, then You just take that and measure it, and if you have a lot left over, you need about at least 3 inches, if not 4, for a little give and take. So you can't stretch it, and no, you have to let it natural and measure it that way. So now it's time to do the decorative stitch inside. And by the way, if you hear anything besides the table creaking, Avery is in the bedroom watching YouTube. He said he would be very quiet for Nanny, but if you do happen to hear anything, that's what it is. So I would do the same with the red thread. Measure it and not use a lot, because it's going to get bunched up and caught, and it's going to wear away. I doubt that it's going to break, but going through over and over again every time for 2, you know, it might. The original rug had a lazy daisy stitch as the center, with the different colors. The green, the red was on the green, and so on. Now I don't like to do that stitch, so I did the same stitch. I think it's a type of a star stitch. It's the same one that I used for the marriage rug tongues, if you remember that video. I'm just going to show you how to do it. So I have my knot. I bring my needle in, not in back of the fabric, just in between the penny and the fabric, so I can slip that knot in there and hide it. You can also bring the knot up from the back too. Let's do that, because it doesn't matter. So I put it up here. Put it straight down, and you'll notice when you do it, it seems as though you need to go very close to that edge of stitching. So I bring it in there, bring it out there. Now, bring it over here, and it helps if your needle is this way and not this way. It goes in straight. And it goes up to this one. Well, there you have your cross. It's not perfect, but it'll do. You bring it down here, put it in, bring it out over here. I hope that's showing on the video. It doesn't look as though it is on my camera screen. And there you have one cross. This one comes up here. You go in here, but you come out right as close as you can there. Okay? Then you take your needle and you open this a bit. Stick it in as close as you can. And pull it tight, and that's your stitch. And then you secure it on the back. So I'm not going to do that again, because you can just put the video back and do it. It's getting pretty late in the day. I'm going to have a photo of, you know, number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and so on. I'll have a photo step by step for that. But that is pretty much the rug and how to do it. Now I wanted to show you, remember we had this discussion about the black. This is black. The black pennies. And I didn't put red on there, but red would really pop. But look at the difference in the color. They don't look good at all. Not at all. I hope my camera is showing that. There. So, okay, now I'm just going to go over the basics again because it's so very easy. Nothing to it. First, you stitch your diamonds together, a whip stitch or a decorative stitch. Then you do your center, which mine is definitely wrong. See, my center is there for some reason, and the center of the rug is here, so that should have been here for some reason. I don't know how that happened. But you do your center, and you make sure that you secure that, because that is what you build all of your diamonds from. Secure that well. Then you use your, you can use something with a straight edge. You fill in here. You do your 1/2 inch, fill, 1/2 inch, fill, oops, and fill. Secure those very well. You can just put your tape on and have them secure. Pin them, staple them, base them. If you base them, do not base just one and then another. Back stitch your based so that you can make sure that they don't move. So we had a short break, and I made Avery popcorn. Where was I? Just going over the basics. The center, secure. Do your outline, 7. Have your 1/2 inch and do your 7s. Secure those very well, and you can stitch those or you can fill in the blanks and then stitch everything at once. The main thing is you need these outside rows secure. You fill in the blanks. It doesn't have to fit. They don't have to fit interlocking. If you find that you don't have enough room, just clip a little bit off your penny. And remember, you can stretch your pennies out of shape sometimes. If you have a wide space, make it wider if it can't fit. And that's about it. Your rug, the big main part will be finished. The next step is to cut your edging and do your blanket stitch. Now I'm going to have to prepare that a little bit because I don't have anything to show you how to do that actually. So I'm going to have to somehow do a row on each side, and then I'll show you how to cut it. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to do the part 4 where we do the edge, we do the lining, and we do these and attach them, and then your rug is finished. So if you have any questions, please post them on the group when I share the video. When I do share the video, I'm going to show the photos of the original rug, and you can see it more clearly how that rug is a bit different than this one, how it's the stitches are lazy daisy, and lazy daisy here as well. The thread is different here, so I will show all of that, and I will be back probably in a few days because I need to prep for it to do the finish of the instructions on this one, the part 4. So I hope everyone enjoys their rug. I hope everyone likes the colors. I do think they're very nice. And do remember that you do have your finish kit coming. Everyone has a finish kit. If you did not order the edging, you still have your wool yarn for your edging. You have your 25% discount coupon, and I'm going to include something else. It has just been so terrible getting these out, and so long, that I do feel I need to do a little bit more for you. So everyone will get a bit of a surprise. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's not wool and it's not string, but I think you will like it. It has been on the group. Everyone really liked it on the group. That's all I'm going to say. So you get a surprise when you get your next finish kit. Okay, well, thank you everyone for your patience and your understanding, and I think it's time to get supper.